Stephen just said in that you guys are one of 4 teams left still playing.
Oh, you know what? I think at this point, I don't know, we're 48 hours before the game. I think we're close to being past that. I think Virginia presents you with so many challenges that you begin to get concerned about, being able, how we're going to guard them, and what adjustments can we make when what we think we can do doesn't bother them. And so at this point, you're going to get consumed with it. These are long days, and there's a lot to do. We had a good practice this morning. We actually have some gym time reserved this afternoon over the University of Minnesota, and we're just not going to take it because I just think that we got to get the kids back to the hotel, get them something to eat, get them off their feet, and we had a good day, and we'll go twice tomorrow.
I know you're in preparation mode and you're completely involved with that, but what does it mean to be able to stand next to your son on a bench in the Final Four?
Yeah, Stephen, I've asked the guys to look around a little bit, especially today and tomorrow, and maybe even just for a second in pregame tomorrow night, Saturday night, and cherish the moment, and obviously to share it with Stephen. Knowing how hard we both have worked and knowing the sacrifices that he made. Look, Stephen came to Auburn to help me do this. He wasn't sure whether he wanted to be a coach. He wasn't sure what he wanted to do. He just didn't want me to have to leave Knoxville and just have it be Brandy and I. He wanted to make sure that, because he knows how important family is to me. And I couldn't do it without him. And the fact that we've done it together makes it all the more sweet and precious.
Some of the guys talked about just how different it is playing in this stadium. They said it's like playing outside. How have you seen them just kind of adjust to it in practice?
It looked like they shot it well. I mean, that's one of the biggest thing is the backgrounds a little bit. The free throw shooting could be interesting. But I've been in these kind of buildings before that are bigger than this, and so it just didn't seem to be that big a deal. For me, while I always stand when I coach because I can't get up and down too easily. I'm going to be away from my assistants, and that's going to be a challenge for me because I like when my assistants are in my ear, suggesting things, challenging my thinking, so on and so forth. So I'm going to have to stay, closer to the court. The other thing too is our timeouts. I always keep our players on the bench at a timeout. We don't bring chairs on the floor. Just have sort of never done that. We're going to have to do it now because I don't want the 5 players on the floor climbing down and sitting down the bench, and so we're going to put 5 chairs up. We'll meet on the floor, which will be a little different. And you typically don't like to change routine, and but we have no choice because of the elevated floor.
We've seen Malik just dancing and singing in the locker room and stuff. Very lighthearted. I mean, he seems to kind of be a glue guy in that room. So what does he mean to that locker room?
Well, I think it helps because he lightens the moment. He is a free spirit. He's got a pretty good voice, and he's got that southern twang to his voice, and so he always makes us smile. And yet Malik is, he's also made some sacrifices. I mean, Malik would love to get the same shots that Bryce gets, but his role's different. And I think the kids have all done a great job of understanding they're capable and knowing that we're relying on them to make open shots, to play great defense, to get physical rebounds, to run the stuff that we're supposed to run, and not try to do more than what you've been doing all season long. Stay within the framework of who you are, and I give the other guys credit for being able to do that when it could be a one shining moment for them.
Is it kind of strange? I mean, these guys have never played Virginia, but they take that court on Saturday. Virginia's going to have a player that a lot of them are pretty familiar with, Braxton Keith.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that would be a bit of an advantage because he's played us before and he can talk a little bit about the personnel and how the system works and things like that. And it's a very, very difficult system to go up against. Very difficult. And one that you probably would want to have a little bit of experience going up against. So, we have to be prepared for this. But then if what this isn't working, we better get moving on that. Otherwise, it'll be over.
A lot of people still doubt you guys can make it to the national championship game. We've talked all season about the players feel like they have a chip on their shoulder, the team does. What's the message going into a game like this where everybody's doubting you again?
Well, I think that, listen, when the tournament started, we talked about winning 6 games. And We've won 4. I'm not sure our kids were even prepared to cut down nets in Kansas City, because even though we were Midwest regional champions, I don't think we really felt like we were just sort of 2/3 of the way to where we wanted to try to get to. So, you know, I think our guys understand that, and that's kind of what our focus is. We know the challenges. We've got great respect for Virginia, and they're going to present us with some real problems. And we know that if we're trying to make history, why not have it be potentially the most difficult road to the Final Four national championship of all time. And so when you get a chance now to go through the teams that we've gone through, including, you know, Kentucky, North Carolina, and Kansas, and then face the only 1 seed that's still left in the tournament in Virginia, and then you look over the other side with Texas Tech and Michigan State, it'll be a difficult road.
What's your message to your players when Selection Sunday comes out and you look at that bracket and you start looking, okay?
Yeah, explain that very thing to them. 2 things. Number 1, I promised them the first game would be the toughest one to win. The first game would be the toughest one to win, and it was. I said the second thing is that our second game won't be any tougher than our first, because I saw Kansas New Mexico State play, and they were pretty close to being even, which then gave my guys a whole wow, New Mexico State must be really good, and they are. And then we talked about trying to make history at Auburn, not just Auburn being in the Final Four, but how did Auburn get to the Final Four? They get to the Final Four through all the blue bloods, through all the great coaches, Hall of Fame coaches, all the McDonald's All-Americans, and we're still on that journey.
Is there a sense of you guys being kind of like the giant killer right now in college basketball because of that road you've gone through?
Well, I think certainly, you know, in March and in March Madness, they do talk about the Cinderella story, and you know, we're writing a story. I don't know how the story's going to end, you know, but right now we're probably at the ball right now, and but the dance isn't over.
You got a dress?
Yeah, I got a dress. I got a dress. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit quite like it used to fit.
First, can you talk about the importance of keeping them off boards for second chance points, because there's not going to be a lot of possessions maybe if they play slow?
Well, I think that, you know, rebounding and physicality is always going to be a big factor for us, and so we're going to have to do a good job in those areas. And you know, tempo is going to be you know, a huge factor. We rely on turning people over. They just don't turn over. We like to make people go faster. They don't go faster than they want to go. And so, again, it presents us a lot of challenges.
The Kentucky game, you really helped yourself, didn't you, with the rebound?
Well, we didn't get destroyed, and that was a big factor in us being able to survive.
Bruce, we saw videos of Toomer's Corner that looked like Auburn beat Alabama in football. What's it like to see that happen for basketball?
Well, that's just great. I mean, Auburn is a great place, and we're really good at a lot of things, including football, and we will always be a football school. A pretty good engineering program. Our school business is amazing. We put out a bunch of nurses that are pretty darn good. I mean, you just go up and down the line. We win national championships in equestrian. We've been winning championships in swimming and diving before it was fashionable. You want to be a PGA pro golfer? Come to Auburn. I mean, just up and down the road. Our soccer team has been probably the most consistent women's soccer program in the SEC in the last 10 or 15 years under Karen Hopp. Our gymnastics team is playing in the regional in Baton Rouge this week. You know, baseball and softball are both nationally ranked, so we're good at everything. And it's just that it's been a while since basketball's been really good. I'll take 2 more.
Bruce, as you guys scouted DeAndre Hunter, is there somebody he reminds you of? Or a combination of players at all?
I mean, I think he's his own man, you know. I think his best days are ahead of him. He's explosive. He's got a good pull game. He can guard multiple positions. I don't want to pigeonhole him into one particular player. I think he's very, very versatile, and he'll be a really tough matchup for us. One more.
Bruce, in a year in the era of one and done, just how important is it to have experience this time of the year? You can see, look across the board, and the 4 teams were.
I think the experience is a factor in this sense. Okay, both Virginia and Auburn ended in the NCAA tournament before they wanted to. Obviously, you know, Virginia, and Tony's spoken of it openly, but he didn't let that upset define his program. His program had character. That character's been revealed. Our motto all year long has been unfinished business. when you win an SEC championship in the following year, you're starting to talk about unfinished business. You got to make some roll their eye. But we were really shorthanded at the end of the year last year. We were limping home in March. This year we're not. You know, losing Chuma's tough because he was our most valuable player and a nightmare to match up with. But we got 9 healthy bodies. We're playing great basketball. We're the hottest team in college basketball right now, and it's April. And so these guys are 2 wins away from completing that journey of unfinished business.
Thanks, Coach.